Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band reviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I've been pretty quiet as of recently, just been trying to take a little bit of a break, just to kind of have some time to myself. But I'm going to just continue doing stuff. I've been posting a lot of interviews, so definitely keep on the lookout for that. I have some really awesome ones coming out in the foreseeable future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, started a new series that I will be posting episodes of. I've just been kind of collecting them, and I'll be posting them very soon, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for technical difficulties that will also be coming out very soon. But tonight we're going to be talking about Telltale's newest record, Timeless Youth.
They try to take our timeless youth away. They try to break us down and guess the blame.
So I found out about this band last weekend. I actually went out to go see them with Chief State and Harbor. I had no idea about this band prior to this. I know that they are from Virginia, but that was actually the first instance of me hearing them whatsoever, which I thought was really cool, just because typically I hear about a band with their music before I go see them at a show, so it was very kind of a different approach. But I was pleasantly surprised at how well they did it live, and I think even more so taking a look into this record. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is the title track, Timeless Youth. This one's one of my favorites. I like that this track has, a lot of the great qualities of a fantastic pop punk song. The instrumentals have this really awesome groove to it, and also just have a lot of energy to it. If you're familiar with pop punk, you know that a lot of pop punk is very energetic, very high energy, and I feel like they keep with that same sort of vibe as well. Instrumentally, just again super solid. Vocally, I definitely feel like the vocals are on point. Very kind of a little bit atypical in a certain sense, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I really feel like the vocals were really fantastic in the chorus. I think that the whole song is super catchy, more specifically the chorus as well, and it's just memorable. I like that there's just a little bit of a higher energy appeal, just kind of more grit, more tonality in the bridge, and just overall, I think it was just a well-rounded song. It was a great single that they had posted on Sharp Tone, and it really kind of gives you an idea of what the band's gonna sound like, and how the rest of the record is to kind of play out. The album is, I don't know if it's out yet or it's coming out very soon. I'm pretty sure it's out already. I will clarify it with some text, but fantastic start to the record, and we're going to move into track number 2, which is Bouquet. This one is very State Champs like. I feel like this band obviously draws a lot from State Champs, and that sort of genre that they have been able to define over the years. But it obviously it imitates them in a certain aspect, but I feel like overall it's another feel good sort of pop punk track as well. This one is a little bit more straightforward. It's a little bit more formulaic in certain parts. I definitely feel like riff wise it's pretty close to State Champs, a certain State Champs song, but vocally, I think it's executed very well. I think it's a solid song nonetheless, but I can't help but feel like sometimes it's a little bit, you're cutting a little bit too close sonically to State Champs, even though we all know that, we can't always escape that sort of thing, but I figure I would point it out nonetheless. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is What We Live For. This one's one of my favorites, and I think the reason why is it just feels different. I feel like Timeless Youth and What We Live For were probably the songs that I was, drawn to while listening to this record. Those were the ones that kind of were stand out right out the gate with the kind of more of a high energy feel to it. And it was cool hearing this one live as well. I feel like in comparison to live versus this. I think they executed it very well, and I feel like they kept with the same sort of tonality, and I was eager to hear this one in a studio setting as opposed to seeing it live. This one is super catchy. It's got some really great pop punk hooks to it, and I think, songwriting, song structure, everything they did on this track was fantastic. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Letting Go. This is another favorite one of mine, and this one's a bit softer. It plays off of more of the melodic nature of what they do and as a band, and I definitely feel like it expands their sound a little bit more. With pop punk in certain aspects, I feel like they pigeonhole themselves into having those sort of high energy tracks that a lot of people get into, and I think that's what they're known for. And I like that this band is kind of taking a different approach to it. Obviously there are tracks that are high energy, there's fun tracks, but I do like that they did a little bit something different. It's still kind of has that sort of energy to it, but is maybe not as forward stated as some of the other ones. The chorus is fantastic on this track, and I love the additional harmonies as well. As many of you know, that's one of my favorite qualities in any sort of track. If they're able to, harness this sort of different vocal styles and just ranges into one track, and just kind of layer the songs in a really nice way. I think it goes out well. So we're gonna move into track number 5, which is Daisy. This one is another really solid track. Again, leaning more towards the State Champs-esque stuff. Another well-written track, but I feel like that flies under the radar, much like Bouquet, in my opinion. Those songs just feel like they are just what they are, and that they kind of feel very State Champs-esque, and that is what I am reminded of. Not to say that, again, it's a bad thing. It's just something that sonically it reminds me a lot of that. And so for them to kind of keep a similar tonality, I feel like it just kind of gets lost in a sort of muddle of the better tracks that I had been talking about previously. So we're gonna move it in track number 6, which is Rose. This one is also one that I heard live as well, and I like that this one takes more of a sort of alternative rock and sort of pop punk borderline feel to this track, and I think that this one again screams originality to me, much like Timeless Youth, What We Live For, and Letting Go. That this is one of the reasons why I feel like this band can definitely separate itself from the pack and bring a different aspect to pop punk into their music. And this one just offered all that for me. I think that they just did more songs like this in the future. I would definitely be more stoked on what's happening. It's catchy, and I just think it's creatively different from the rest of the pack. It's again, I love Timeless Youth. I love all the favorites that I mentioned previously, but this one is definitely number 1 because it just is so different from what people would assume they sound like, and I think it really worked on this record. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Hereditary. This one is another favorite of mine. I think these 2 tracks are probably the best 2 tracks off the record for sure. It's a nice change of pace, and I think that it brings a lot of moments of softness. I think much like in Letting Go, I think they took it even a little bit of a step further and have those sort of quieter moments, but also a moment to kind of build on and get bigger and have those bigger sort of moments and punches to it. There's spurts of emotion and just rawness throughout this entire track, and you can hear in a kind of almost like gritty, borderline sort of scream sort of sound at the end that their vocalist does. I think it just evokes that sort of strong emotion that I come to know and love about pop punk and just this type of music in general, is that evokes a strong emotion. And I think this one is a completely understated track from the record. I think a lot of people will kind of glaze over this one, but I really suggest listening to this one because I think it is fantastic, and it's just powerful, and I think it is a great way to finish out this record in general. So some pros and cons. I think is catchy. There is some emotional moments, especially towards the latter half of the record. Well written instrumentally, and vocally. I think they're, solid on both fronts, but I feel like they kind of step into that sort of State Champs limelight where, there are songs that kind of, have that sort of same tonality, and I think that they have a lot of abilities and a lot of talent to step out of that sort of zone, with tracks like Rose, Hereditary. I feel like those tracks really, show off and utilize what skills they have as a band, and I would love to hear them kind of expound upon that in future releases, but obviously maintaining a lot of the catchiness with tracks like What We Live For and Timeless Youth. I feel like those two tracks really kind of really laid down the catchy notes and the catchy vibes, and so if they're able to kind of combine both aspects of that, I think that would be absolutely phenomenal, and I would hope to hear more of that sort of styling in the future. So let me know if you checked out Telltale's newest record, Timeless Youth. It is really awesome, and my overall rating for it, I'm going to be giving it a 9.4 out of 10. Let me know what your favorite track is in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the record. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I'd love to have a conversation about it. Again, a fantastic band from Virginia. I'm hoping to hear more stuff from them in the coming, year, couple months, whatever. A great band to see live. I think they really put on a great live show, and I hope to see them come to my area in the future as well. So if you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, share it. It goes a long way, and thank you guys for watching. My name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com, and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.